One figure who most caught my attention this week was Athanasius. What stood out to me about him was how strongly he defended the belief that Jesus is fully God, even when everybody and most people around him disagreed with him. During this time, there was a major debate caused by Arius, who argued that Jesus was not fully divine, but instead a created being, like a human, um, which became known as Arianism, which a lot of people in the church supported Arianism, which made Athanasius's position super controversial during his life. Despite his opposition, Athanasius remained committed to defending what he believed was true about Christ, and I feel like we can really find something to take away from that. One quote that stood out from the text to me is, "For the Son of God became man so that we might become God." This quote summarizes Athanasius' understanding of salvation and what it is to him. We believe that Jesus has to be fully divine in order to save humanity. If Jesus were just a created being, they would not have the power to restore humanity's relationship and connection with God. Um, this idea really stood out to me because it shows how important like the actual identity of Jesus was for not only me but also the early Christians in their entire life. And it also shows how much they were willing to fight for what they believed was true in doctrine. A meaningful connection between Athanasius and the lectures this week. Um, we learned that Christian theology develops as believers try to understand and explain what God has revealed through Jesus in Scripture. Athanasius' work is a good example of this process. When debates arose around who Jesus really was, whether he was fully divine or fully human, um, church leaders turned to Scripture and the teachings passed down from the apostles in order to clarify the church's beliefs. This eventually led to the Council of Nicaea, which at the council, church leaders gathered to address the controversy surrounding Arianism and believing that God was fully human, or Jesus was fully human, and to define whether if the church believed the same about the nature of Christ. The council affirmed that Jesus is fully God and of the same essence as God, which Athanasius strongly supported, and he even continued defending himself when he faced exile and criticism. This connects to what we learned in the lectures about how Christian doctrine develops over time. The early church did not simply invent new beliefs, but instead worked to faithfully stick to the Bible and interpret God's revelation through Scripture. Athanasius played an important role in helping the church articulate, and I believe that's super important. So, thank you. Bye.